If she suddenly crossed your mind today and you felt that quiet pull in your chest, this video is for you, because what I'm about to tell you will make you question everything you thought silence meant. And before we go any deeper, do yourself a favor. Subscribe to this channel and like this video, because the truths you're about to hear are the ones most men never learn until it's too late. I'm speaking to you not as a performer, not as a friend trying to comfort you, but as a female psychologist who has listened to thousands of women say the same sentence in different voices. I miss him, but I'll never tell him. And here's the part men struggle to accept. When a woman misses you, she rarely does it loudly. She does it carefully, strategically, almost invisibly. Most men believe that if a woman misses them, she'll text, call, show up, or confess. That belief has cost more men their dignity, their leverage, and sometimes their future than any other misunderstanding in dating psychology. Women are trained, socially and emotionally, to regulate desire differently. Missing you doesn't mean chasing you. It means signaling without exposure. The first thing you must understand is this. When a woman misses you, she doesn't move toward you. She moves around you. She circles your emotional perimeter without crossing it. And if you don't know how to read those movements, you mistake them for indifference, when in reality, they are restraint. Men are taught that silence means absence. For women, silence often means containment. It's where feelings are hidden, not erased. When she goes quiet, it's not always because she's over you. Sometimes it's because she's fighting the urge to reach out, and that internal fight creates behaviors that feel subtle, confusing, and easy to dismiss. And here's the uncomfortable truth I need you to hear as a mentor, not a cheerleader. The men who chase during this phase lose. The men who panic expose themselves. The men who overinterpret every move miss the deeper pattern entirely. Women communicate longing sideways, through timing, through restraint, through behaviors that look neutral on the surface, but are emotionally loaded underneath. These are not accidents. They are pressure releases, ways of staying connected without surrendering control. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the moments you thought meant she doesn't care were often the moments she cared the most. And once you see these signals clearly, you'll stop reacting and start understanding. Stay with me. The first signal changes everything. The first silent signal most men completely ignore is this. She reappears indirectly, without invitation and without explanation. Not with a confession, not with a dramatic message, but through presence that feels almost accidental. She views your stories. She likes something old. She reacts to something small. Or she suddenly becomes visible in places where she knows you might notice her, online or in real life, without ever giving you a reason to engage. From a psychological perspective, this behavior is not random. It's a controlled emotional test. When a woman misses you but refuses to expose herself, she looks for low-risk contact points. These allow her to feel your emotional temperature without risking rejection or loss of power. Think of it as emotional sonar. She's checking if you're still there, still receptive, still affected. Men often ruin this moment by overreacting. They message immediately. They call it coincidence. Or worse, they confront her, "Why are you watching my stories if you don't care?" That response collapses the entire signal, because the purpose of this behavior is not to reconnect. It's to observe. When a woman misses you, curiosity becomes louder than pride. She wants to know how you're doing without asking. She wants to see if you've moved on without admitting she hasn't. And she wants to feel your presence again without stepping back into vulnerability. This is where most men misread the situation. They assume interest must be verbal, but women are wired to manage desire through behavior, not declaration. Silence plus proximity is not absence. It's longing under supervision. Here's the deeper truth. If she didn't miss you at all, she would disappear completely. No watching, no hovering, no quiet engagement. Emotional detachment is clean. Missing someone is messy, but controlled. This signal often appears after distance, after no contact, after a moment where she thought she had let go and realized she hadn't. And instead of reaching out, she tests the emotional bridge. Is it still standing? Or has it collapsed? What matters here is not what you do, but what you don't do. You don't chase. You don't interpret it aloud. You don't reward the signal with desperation. Because the moment you react emotionally, She learns she still has access without risk, and that weakens attraction. Silence met with calm presence creates psychological tension, and tension is where desire grows. She misses you, but she also respects you more when you don't need proof. And the more she observes you remaining grounded, unchanged, emotionally steady, the louder her internal conflict becomes. Because now she's not just missing you, she's questioning why she let you go. The second silent signal is more unsettling, and that's why most men misread it as coldness. When a woman secretly misses you, she becomes unusually controlled in her communication. Short replies, delayed responses, neutral tone. Not because she feels nothing, but because she feels too much and doesn't trust herself with access to you. This is emotional containment, not disinterest. As a psychologist, I've watched women describe this phase with the same language again and again. They say, if I talk to him too much, I'll fall back in. So they ration interaction. They limit exposure. They keep conversations surface level, even when the urge to go deeper is strong. Men often interpret this as punishment or rejection. They think she's being distant, so I should pull harder. That instinct comes from fear, and fear is the fastest way to reverse attraction. What's actually happening is that she's protecting herself from emotional overflow. When a woman truly doesn't care, she's relaxed, she's fluid, she's unguarded. There's no tension in her tone because there's nothing to lose. But when she misses you, every word becomes a risk. Every conversation becomes a doorway she's afraid to walk through. So she keeps it minimal. This restraint is not accidental, it's self-discipline. And it often shows up when she senses that talking to you might reopen emotional attachment. She answers just enough to stay connected, but not enough to lose control. Here's the part most men don't want to hear. If she didn't miss you, she wouldn't respond at all. Emotional neutrality doesn't require effort. Emotional distance does. That pause before she replies. That's not forgetting. That's debating. She's asking herself whether she can handle hearing your voice again, whether she's strong enough not to lean back into familiarity. And the danger for you is this. If you push during this phase, you force her to choose safety over connection. She will shut the door, not because she stopped caring, but because you made it too hard to manage. Women are attracted to emotional safety, not emotional pressure. When you remain steady, calm, and non-invasive, you become the one space she doesn't have to defend against. That's when her restraint starts to crack. Because missing you while feeling safe around you is a powerful internal conflict. One that grows quietly, one that builds, and eventually, that conflict demands resolution, but only if you don't interrupt it with fear. The third silent signal is the one men almost always dismiss as coincidence, but it's the most emotionally revealing of all. When a woman secretly misses you, she begins to mirror your rhythm again, your timing, your energy, your emotional pace, without acknowledging why. This isn't flirting. This isn't nostalgia. This is unconscious alignment. Psychologically, mirroring only happens when emotional connection still exists. When a woman is done, she detaches her inner tempo from yours. Your life no longer influences hers. But when she misses you, your emotional gravity pulls her back into sync, even if she fights it. You post less, she posts less. You disappear for a few days, she does the same. You re-emerge calm and composed. She subtly shifts her tone to match. This is not strategy. This is emotional resonance resurfacing. Men overlook this because it doesn't feel dramatic. There's no confession, no jealousy play, no late-night message. But internally, this is where attachment reactivates. She's not just thinking about you, she's adjusting herself around you again. This happens because missing someone doesn't only bring longing, it brings memory, and memory carries emotional rhythm. When she misses you, her nervous system remembers how it felt to be connected to you, and it starts recalibrating. Here's where most men sabotage everything. They break the rhythm by forcing contact, forcing clarity, or forcing emotion. And when you do that, she pulls away to regain control. A woman who is mirroring you is watching you more closely than you think. She's studying how you move without her, how you carry yourself without needing her reaction, whether your confidence is real or performative. And this is the part few men are prepared for. When she sees you stable, unreactive, and emotionally self-contained, missing you turns into respect. Respect deepens desire. Desire without safety fades. Desire with safety intensifies. Mirroring is her subconscious saying, I still feel connected and I don't know why. If she didn't miss you, your presence would feel irrelevant. Your timing wouldn't matter. Your silence wouldn't register. The fact that it does is the signal. And here's the truth I need you to sit with as a mentor, not a motivator. You don't win her back by decoding every move. You win by becoming someone whose absence creates emotional echo. When you don't chase, don't accuse, don't demand, when you simply remain grounded, she feels the weight of that absence more clearly. Because now she's not just missing what you were, she's missing how she felt when she was aligned with you. Now here's where the psychology turns uncomfortable for most men. When a woman secretly misses you, she often starts talking around you, not to you. She brings you up indirectly. She references shared memories in neutral contexts. She mentions things that only you would fully understand, but never says your name with emotion attached. This is not nostalgia. This is emotional leakage. As a psychologist, I can tell you this is one of the clearest signs unresolved attachment still exists. When feelings are gone, the mind closes the file. There's no need to revisit, reference, or reframe. But when she misses you, her mind keeps returning to the emotional imprint you left behind, and it looks for safe exits. So she tells a story that includes you, without focusing on you. She makes a joke that only makes sense because of something you shared. She speaks as if you're no longer central, yet somehow still present. This is her way of keeping the emotional thread alive without reopening the wound. Men usually misread this as friendliness or closure. They think, she's just being polite, or she's over it. But emotionally, this behavior serves a different purpose. It allows her to process longing without vulnerability. She can feel connected without admitting she still cares. What's important is how carefully she does this. She avoids emotion. She avoids depth. She avoids anything that might invite you to step closer. Because closeness is dangerous when you're trying not to fall back into someone. And here's the critical mistake men make. They seize this opening to push for more. They bring up the past with intensity. They ask, do you miss me? They try to force clarity, and the moment they do, she retreats. Not because the feeling isn't there, but because you turned a quiet, emotional release into a confrontation. When a woman misses you, she needs space to feel without being cornered into explaining those feelings. The moment she feels pressured to define them, she chooses distance over honesty. Silence in this phase is not passive, it's active restraint. And when you respect it, something powerful happens. Her indirect references grow closer. Her emotional tone softens. The wall lowers, not because you broke it, but because she no longer needs it. This is where maturity matters. The man who remains grounded, who doesn't fish for reassurance, who doesn't demand proof, he becomes the emotional anchor she didn't realize she was missing. Because now, missing you isn't just about attraction, it's about emotional safety. And safety is what turns longing into return. There's another behavior that appears when a woman misses you, and it confuses men because it looks like independence. She suddenly emphasizes her strength, her growth, her busy life. She talks about how well she's doing, how much she's learned, how grounded she feels now. And men assume this means they're irrelevant. Psychologically, this is compensation. When a woman misses someone she doesn't want to miss, her ego looks for balance. She reminds herself, and subtly reminds you, that she's okay without you. Not because she wants to erase you, but because she's trying to manage the emotional imbalance your absence created. If she truly didn't care, there would be no need to perform stability. Emotional neutrality doesn't announce itself, but emotional conflict does. And strength, when spoken out loud, is often strength being reinforced, not strength already secured. This is where men make another critical error. They feel challenged, they compete, they try to prove they're doing better, and the moment it turns into a comparison, attraction collapses. What she's actually doing is testing something far more subtle. Whether your presence destabilizes her or grounds her. Whether you react with insecurity or calm assurance. A woman who misses you is watching how you hold yourself when she doesn't need you. Does your identity crumble, or does it remain intact? Here's the truth men rarely hear. Women don't miss men who need them. They miss men who choose them, but don't depend on them. And when she sees you unmoved by her independence, something shifts inside her. Because now her growth doesn't threaten you, and that safety allows longing to resurface without fear. You don't respond by boasting. You don't respond by withdrawing emotionally. You respond by being steady, curious, present, but not grasping. That balance sends a powerful message to her nervous system. Connection with you doesn't cost her freedom. And when a woman realizes she can miss you without losing herself, the resistance weakens. This is where missing turns into reflection. Reflection turns into regret. And regret, when paired with respect, becomes desire that no longer needs hiding. Most men never reach this phase because they react too soon. They speak too much. They try to control the outcome. But the man who understands this psychology doesn't rush. He lets silence do its work. Because he knows something most men don't. When a woman secretly misses you, the loudest thing you can do is nothing. And that quiet confidence is what stays with her long after the conversation ends. Here is the truth most men never hear because it requires patience, restraint, and emotional discipline. When a woman secretly misses you, she is not waiting for you to convince her. She is waiting to see who you are when you don't try to win her back. At this stage, everything becomes internal for her. The signals slow down. The movements become quieter. The tests stop being behavioral and start being emotional. She asks herself questions she won't share with anyone. Did I let go too soon? Did I underestimate his stability? Did I confuse comfort with boredom? Did I walk away from something safe because it didn't feel dramatic enough? And the answer to those questions is shaped almost entirely by how you carry yourself now. Men believe the final move is a message, a confession, or a perfectly timed reach out. That belief keeps them stuck. Because the real trigger isn't what you say, it's what she feels when she thinks of you. If she feels pressure, she distances. If she feels obligation, she resists. If she feels judged, she defends. But if she feels calm, grounded, emotionally safe, that's when missing you becomes unavoidable. This is where silence transforms from absence into presence. Your restraint becomes strength. Your lack of reaction becomes reassurance. You are no longer someone she has to manage emotionally. You become someone she can rest with. And here's the part that changes everything. Women don't return to men who chase their attention. They return to men whose absence taught them something. If she secretly misses you, it's because something about you created emotional order in her world. Something about your presence regulated her nervous system. Something about your steadiness made her feel anchored. When you don't interrupt that realization with fear, it deepens on its own. This is why the strongest position is not pursuit. It's composure, not explanation. It's embodiment. You don't need to prove your value. You need to live it. And when she finally reaches out, not subtly, not indirectly, but clearly, it won't be because you convinced her. It will be because missing you became louder than her resistance. Remember this as a mentor would tell you, not to impress you, but to prepare you. The men who win in love are not the ones who react fastest. They are the ones who understand silence and respect it enough to let it work in their favor.